Hey, what's up my YouTube friends? I have for you a short but powerful review of this generic fighting knife. This is a $12 knife that's available on Temu, at least it was when I bought it. Right? And as you can see, this is kind of a classic play on what they often call a Commando dagger, a fighting knife, a fighting dagger, or a Fairbairn Sykes dagger. But this is not technically a dagger because this part does not come sharpened. But if I know you, and I do know you, you're probably going to sharpen that when you get it, depending on where you live, of course. Now, there is pretty much a 100% chance that this knife is either an OEM or a replica or a copy of some other knife, right? However, in this case, really the entire category is a copy. Like any company now that makes a kind of classic Commando dagger or Commando fighting knife like this, they're really just copying the historical knives from years gone by, right? So any modern Commando dagger is a copy of a copy of a copy. So in that case, yeah, doesn't matter. Here's a closer look. So you see it has a lanyard hole there. It does have a depression here, which can be used for a modified saber grip if you want to. Got texture right there. A small guard. It is single-edged, but with the capability to sharpen that. Here are the stats on the knife such as they are. It was around $12. It was being sold on Temu. I'm just going to call it generic fighting knife. Probably an OEM of another fighting knife. 5 inches, about 5 inches in blade length. G10 handle scales leather sheath. 5.8 ounces in weight. I did weigh it myself. And the steel, they did not say what the steel was. But I have my theories. All right, first of all, let's roll in the initial sharpness, and then we'll come back and talk about this steel. This knife surprised me. And that's why. I was not expecting it to be sharp. I did a few test cuts. I was not expecting this. Yeah, I mean, for this price range, they're usually dull. So you saw that. So what do I think the steel is? Well, back when I was a teen, they usually called this type of steel would just be called surgical steel. I believe this steel is probably the equivalent of 420 SS, or maybe it is even that. The long and short of it is, it comes really sharp, it takes a sharp edge, but it might not have retention of that edge for very long. So basically, if you use it to cut a lot of things, you're just going to have to resharpen it, touch it up fairly often. This is the sheath that it came with. It is a cheap leather sheath, button closure retaining strap, and a belt loop. And so that's the budget sheath. So this fighting knife reminds me of a lot of other fighting knives and some what you could call Commando daggers. Here's a little mini collection of fighting knives. We've got the Spartan dagger. We have the Blackhawk UK SFK, which I think is discontinued. We have a Fury dagger that's made in Taiwan. I think that's also discontinued. And we have a Gerber Mark I that's also discontinued. But you know what's not discontinued? This $12 knife. No, just kidding. But yeah, I love me some fighting blades, definitely. If you didn't know, I'm part Filipino and I do FMA in my family. De Leon family, FMA. But a lot of people like the looks on that Spartan dagger, but I did have a few people getting pissy because it's like a $120 dagger. Okay, well if you complain about the $120 dagger, you're going to get reviews of the $12 fighting knife, okay? Because you can't have it both ways. You know, $120 is not really that expensive in the category of super nice daggers. But which is my favorite? Probably the Blackhawk, because it's one solid slab of steel. I mean, this thing, talk about a a war shank. They should bring that back. But anyway, you see the contour of this handle right here and the contour here. You're going to see that again and again in fighting knives, right? Again and again. It goes back to, you know, those old founding fathers, Fairbairn and Sykes, right? It's a good idea. I've had a lot of people offer me money to buy this. And no, I can't sell this because it's just, you know, it's in the collection. But yeah, it's a beautiful dagger. I don't blame you for wanting one. Gerber should bring this back. All right, getting stabby. This will represent the enemy soldier. You got him down. All right, so as I always say, it's in there like Excalibur. If this was a human, much softer than the wood, it'd be in there to there. All right, this is stuck in here. All right, what's up? Yes, it's me. It's me. What's up? Cutting some stuff with this, just on the off chance that you have some utility use for it. This is a strap. It's like a seatbelt type strap. No problem. All right, going to carve a tip onto this piece of wood. And I already carved one on this end with another knife that I was reviewing the same day. All right. I mean, this is just a Marshall blade, but it's always good to cut some things in a review. You feel me? Encouraging actual use. This is doing well for fighting knife. You're all in fighting shape, right? You're all in good shape for a fight for your age, right? Better be. All right. Oh, that was fast. Okay. So, yeah. Pointed tip. Pointed tip. All right. Just another material. This is a piece of a box. I'm just going to cut it once because I have 4 knives I'm reviewing today and I only have 1 piece of a box left. All right, there you go. I trust you saw that it was very effective at that basic utility chore. Final thoughts on $12 of death? Well, I think my name for it says it all. Yeah, this is $12 of death. That cost $10 more than a shank or a couple shanks that I made myself. Made them as throwing knives. But yeah, if you don't want to make your own shank for $2 of materials and some time, then there's this for $12. I do think it's definitely worth the price. It's just that a lot of people don't necessarily need something like this. Now, knives like this, they're kind of like a fire extinguisher. If you need one every day, then there's a bigger problem going on. But at the same time, if you only need it once in your whole life, you'll definitely be glad if you have one. All right, so yeah, it's a good deal for $12. What can I say? All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like videos like this and you love knives and multi-tools and other gear, air guns, be sure to subscribe. All right, I'm out.